Right behind me, I've got the all-new 2026 Hyundai Palisade Ultimate Calligraphy. If you guys are new to my channel, my name is Jason and I do reviews on vehicles here in Canada, so reviews just like this. If you love car reviews, be sure to like this video and also subscribe to the channel for more reviews. And also thank you to Performance Hyundai here in Brampton for allowing me to review this beautiful Palisade. And if you're new to my channel, well, welcome. And in my reviews, I go over the different models that you can get with the vehicle. So in this case, the Hyundai Palisades. I also talk about the safety features that you do get with the particular model. So again, in this case, this is the Ultimate Calligraphy model. I am also going to touch on the engine specs, the exterior, the interior, the infotainment system, and of course, the pricing. Well, let's jump right into it. And if you're not familiar with the Palisades, this has been completely redesigned inside and out, and you will see this in this video as I walk around the exterior and the interior. Now, in terms of the different models that you can get with the new Hyundai Palisades, this will be the Preferred Trend. There's also the XRT Pro, and the one that you're looking at right now, which is the Ultimate Calligraphy. Now, in terms of the different safety features that you do get with this Ultimate Calligraphy model, you do have things like the Forward Attention Warning, Highway Driving Assist 2, Forward Collision Avoidance Assist 2, with the Pedestrian, Cyclist, Junction Turning, and Crossing Detection. There's also the Blind Spot Collision Avoidance Assist. You've also got things like the Parking Distance Warning for the side. There's also the Lane Following Assist, Parking Collision Avoidance Assist for the reverse, Lane Keeping Assist, Rear Cross Traffic Collision Avoidance Assist, the Surround View and the Blind Spot View Monitor, and the Parking Distance Warning for the front and reverse. All right, let's talk about what powers this beauty. This does have a 3.5 liter V6 engine, and a hybrid one is coming soon. So with this particular one right here, you are going to get 287 horsepower with 260 pound-foot of torque. In terms of the fuel economy, you're looking at about 12.2 liters per 100 kilometers in the city and about 9.7 liters per 100 kilometers on the highway. Now, as for your towing capabilities, you're looking at about 5,000 pounds for your towing. All right, let's jump right into it. I love the full redesign on this. The front just looks very, very cool. So let's start off on the bumper area. First of all, you got this unique bumper area here with the front safety sensors that run across and like this aluminum trimming that also runs across. On the corners here, you will see these two openings. Well, right now they're closed, but they do open. It is active shutters to allow airflow. And that's pretty much it for the bumper. But if you look right above the bumper, but below the grille, there's more of the aluminum trimming, a lot of gloss black trimming that you'll notice, and then you just get into this very unique looking grille area. I love all of the openings on this, all of like the lines and everything, because you do have the chrome all in like this square designing, and even like on this area here. So all of these and the lines here is in chrome, which from far away you can't really tell, but once you get close, you could definitely see that it is chrome. You've also got a front-facing camera right there, and this nice looking LED strip within the grille area. And on top here, you do have your typical Hyundai badging, and then you get into these super unique looking lights. I love these daytime running lights right here. You've got your typical lights right there, of course, but these just look so cool. I can only imagine how nice this looks at nighttime coming down the road. But yeah, that is what the front end looks like. I think they've done a really good job. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you a fan of this new look here or the previous one? Now let's come around to the side of the vehicle. You can clearly see the sizing of this. It's a pretty decent sized vehicle. This is a 3-row SUV, and if you just go with the standard model, you are going to get the standard 8-passenger configuration. But if you jump up to the Ultimate Calligraphy model here, you are going to have the 7-passenger capacity. And I want to show you something really cool, because up top here, not only do the front passengers, the driver and the passenger, have their sunroof area, but you also have one for the rear people, so they're not missing out at all. And then of course you have these aluminum roof rails, a bit of gloss black there. Around the windows, I like how they have this chrome trimming up top here, which also goes right above the windshield. So along the whole top of the vehicle, it is surrounded by this chrome trimming. And then of course in the center here, the pillar, you do have just the gloss black, and even here you have gloss black, which I really like, because typically you have the ugly plastic looking thing, but on this it is gloss, and your door handles do come body color. And let me just take a step back, and I don't know if the video does justice, but this color is really cool. It is like this deep green. I'm not sure if it's gonna show it on camera properly, but in person it looks stunning. Now if you move over to your side mirrors here, you've got the gloss black here, the turn signals, you've even got the side mirror cameras there, and then the rest is body color. And this also has the power folding side mirrors. And even down here along the sides of the vehicle, you have more of the chrome trimming. And I really like this because typically on vehicles, you have just the plastic molding, and even around the wheel well here, you typically have the black plastic look, but this is body color, and here you have the aluminum. So I think this just adds a premium look to a vehicle rather than the cheap black plastic. And then you get into these super cool looking 21-inch wheels. I really like what they've done with this as well. You've got the aluminums going on here, and then in the center here, you kind of have like this gray granite type of a color going on. And if I do take a step back, you can see it fits this vehicle perfectly, I think. And another cool thing that the Ultimate Calligraphy has, well, it's mainly in the rear, but you do have the rear auto leveling suspension, which is super helpful. And one last thing I want to point out on the side here, if you notice right by the wheels, you do have your light. And since you have a light over there, on the rear one here, you have a reflector. Now let's head over to the rear, and again, the chrome that I was talking about, you have this massive panel, this aluminum panel, because it's kind of like this satin finish. It's not like full chrome, and same thing along the windows at the top that I was talking about. I like the styling of this rather than the full chrome that's kind of like reflective and gets in your eyes and whatnot, but this just looks very premium. Now let's head to the rear. How nice does this look? Now I am gonna compare the rear kind of to the new Range Rovers, because if you're seeing this for the first time, the shape really reminds me of a Range Rover minus the lights, obviously, but if you were to put Range Rover lights, take away the badging, it would look really close. Now, as for the rear bumper, again, body color back here, you've got more of the aluminum trimming down below, and then in the center you do have this gloss black trim. There's more reflectors on the rear, and the bottom lights right there, the white ones, that is actually your reverse lights. There's more safety sensors on the rear, and even here, right below the tailgate area, you do have more aluminum trimming. Speaking of tailgate, let's jump to that. You have another Hyundai badge and the massive Palisade letters. Right underneath, you have your backup camera with a washer. And just like the front lights, the rear lights do not disappoint as well. I love the designing on this. And if you're wondering what this area is, well, it's for your turn signal. So that's what it looks like. You have your lights here, and then that is where the turn signals are. So that's what the rear one looks like. And then like I was mentioning, the side mirror also has the built-in turn signal. And the same thing for the front. That massive LED area that I was talking about is a full-on turn signal. How cool is that? Also, if you look up top here, you have this unique looking spoiler area with the gloss black and then the body color up top, obviously. And here is another camera. This is for your digital rear view mirror. All right, so let's go ahead and open up the tailgate. There's a little button underneath, so it is power opening, obviously, if you're getting the highest trim. Now, the third row seats are down right now, but let's say you weren't going to use the third row and just a second row and you needed space. This is how much space opens up with the third row folded down. Even here, you have the aluminum protectors on both of the sides. Now, I'm gonna put up the third row seats just to show you how much room back here you have if you're using all of the rows. So to do that, there is buttons right here to fold the seats back up. All right, as those come back up, now you can really see the room that you have. It's actually not all that bad considering this is a pretty big SUV and it's a 3-row SUV. There's a ton of room back here for all of your family trips, whatever stuff that you want to put back here. Let's lift up the carpet area and see what's underneath. So you have more space down here. You kind of have like this hidden area in a way that you can even store more things in this. Let's go ahead and close this and see what else we have back here. Now, like you probably just saw, these were power seats, and yes, the second row and the third row are power seats. So back here you do have this 12-volt socket and then all of your seat controls here. Now I really like what Hyundai has done with this because as you see here, it says second row and third row, and then you can kind of flick through the rows. So here's the third row and here's the second row. And you can adjust the seats according to whatever row that you're in. Or you can just pull this and it just brings up all of the seats. And here's all of the controls, so you can actually move the seats forward and backwards. And here is the buttons to put them down and bring them back up as well. So not only is the third row power, but the second row as well. I really like that in a 3-row SUV because you're not only having the third row or the second row, vice versa, as power, they're both power. All right, let's take a look inside and see what they've done with the new Palisade. Right off the bat, you've got this beautiful white interior. I am a huge fan of this because it just looks so nice. It may get a little dirty easily if you have kids, but hey, at least it looks nice. So down here, you do have some area for your water bottles. You got a speaker right here, and then the soft touch material right here with more of the aluminum trimming. And then you have another water bottle area and then some small space right here. Here is your window controls. And then if you look closely, I'm not sure if you see that little glow that's happening behind the handle, but this does have ambient lighting. And then you get into this trimming here. Now this is not soft touch material. It is kind of like this fabric trimming, but I'm not mad at all because this just looks and feels very premium. There's more of the aluminum trimming, the nice stitching and everything, and then more of the soft touch material up here. Even your door handle is very unique. Another speaker is up here, and my favorite, you have the hater blockers. All right, now let's jump inside and let me show you the second row and the third row. First of all, I'm gonna jump in the third row and kind of show you the legroom, the headroom, and then I'll do the same thing for the second row. So let's jump in. And in order to get into the third row, it's very easy because all you gotta do is press this button here. You've also got it right down here as well. So if I just press this, the seat will start adjusting itself, and as you can see, it gives you enough room to get into the third row. All right, I'm in the third row, and back here, the seat I think is in a pretty solid position, depending on how tall you are. But regardless, I do have some space back here, and obviously my knee will stick out here since there's nothing in the middle. So comfort wise, not too bad. You even have pretty good like thigh support. Typically on some vehicles in the third row, this is super low, but again, it's not super uncomfortable. It's still bearable. And as for the headroom, even though I'm wearing a hat, and for reference, I am 5'11", I do have a good amount of room actually. So no issues there at all. So back here, I mean, for a long road trip, I think as an adult, you should be fine. Now back here, it's actually pretty cool because there's quite a few things going on. First of all, on the pillar here, you have this suede material, and even on your roof. That right off the bat just screams luxury. You've got a speaker back here. You've got 2 more water bottle areas, a USB port. Here is how you can recline your seats for the third row and also move them back and forwards. So this technically means if this seat is back in that same position that I just shown you and you really don't have anything in the trunk, I can open up my legroom even more by sliding this and having the seat move back. The third row is also heated. How nice is that? Not only the left side, you have the same stuff on the right side. Now that I think is super good. All right, now let's get out of here. I'm gonna jump into the second row and show you there as well. Okay, I'm in the second row and I adjusted my seat according to how I wanted it, not taking into account for people behind me. So if there's someone behind you, it may be a little bit different, but here is the space in terms of what you have if you adjust it to your liking and not care about the third row people. In terms of the headroom, again, so much room, I think even more than the third row, as you can see all the way up here. That's a lot of headroom. But yeah, the second row seats are even comfortable. The third row is pretty good as well. Oh, and also the second row seats, I'm gonna show you in a second up here. They do come heated and ventilated. Let me show you where that is. So up here, you have all of your heating and cooling controls, and here are all the controls for the vented seats and heated seats for the second row. How nice is that? And then of course you have your vents here, and then even on the rear, you even have reading lights on the rear. And here's what the sunroof looks like for the second and third row people. Also, behind the driver and passenger seats, you do have the plastic here and some storage space even on the passenger side. Now, once you're inside, on the rear console area, what you typically would have, you just have a 115 volt outlet. So that's what that looks like right there. And you can also slide this bad boy out and have even more storage space. Also, you'll notice on the side of the front seats, primarily on the passenger side, you can even adjust it from here. So if you want to get comfortable in the second row, you can definitely adjust the seat from the controls here. There's also a USB port here, and on the driver's side as well. All right, now let me show you the details on the seats here. Very, very nice. I love the headrest here. You've got the perforated middle sections here, and even like these chrome bits and pieces on the second row. You don't have that on the third row, but the second row seats are very, very nice. And like I was mentioning, these are not only heated, but also ventilated. You've also got your very own armrest, which is very nice and comfortable, obviously. But yeah, these seats are comfortable for the second row. Even the third row is pretty comfortable. I'm surprised at that. But the amount of things that you get in this, like in terms of even the third row heated seats, the power adjustable third row seats, the second row seats, obviously, there's just a ton of value packed in this. And obviously it is the highest trim model, so you're going to be paying a little bit more than the base model. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you think of the interior. Now, on the door sill piece here, you have this premium looking chrome piece here that says Palisade, and also the designing and everything. All right, let's head to the front and let me show you what this looks like compared to the rear. It's not a whole lot different. The only thing you'll notice is the reflector here, and then you have 2 spots for your water bottle area, and then this whole massive area. But yeah, this just looks so clean. There's no like the carpet trim up here. There's nothing up here. It's all just soft touch material. So it's not like the second row actually. I prefer the second row, and I do wish that they continued up here as well. But up here, other than that, you just have your typical window controls, side mirror controls, and then your driver memory seat controls. And this also has the massage feature. So that's another luxury thing with this. Now let's talk about the front seats here. Again, just like the second row, you have the exact same layout. Not only do they come heated, not only do they come ventilated, they're also massage featured seats. And in the front headrest, you do have calligraphy etched in to the headrest on both of them. It would have been cool to have it on every single headrest, but I guess that's overkill. And you will notice one thing. So this is what the designing looks like for the front headrest. That is for the second row headrest, and then the third row headrest, you can see they're all different in their own way. I really like the second row headrest. I think it's super, super comfortable, and I do wish that they added it up here. Now, over on the side here, you have a bunch of power controls. So there's a ton of ways to get comfortable in this. And once you are stopped, let's say you're waiting for someone or whatever it is, if I just press and hold this, it is gonna put my seat into this super, super comfortable position. Now, wait until this finishes because you will see how comfortable this gets. Look at that. You can literally fall asleep with this, and you can even bring out the support here. So you can just get extra comfy and just fall asleep in this luxury beast. And then same thing up here, you just have a bigger door sill piece. It's exactly like the rear. Underneath, you just got your pedals there, and then over here you have your hood latch release. Here's your fuse box, and then here you have a bunch of different controls. So you have the cluster dimmers, the trunk opening, auto start stop, you got the tow mode here, traction control, and then the electronic parking brake. Now, like I was mentioning, the second row trim, the fabric trim, is even continued on here on the dashboard, which is super cool. And you have the unique looking skinny venting. And as for the steering wheel, this is manual adjustable. I wish it was power. All right, so once you enter inside and you start up the vehicle, you do have these nice animations that do play in the digital cluster area. But let me bring you to the dashboard area. You have more of this nice trimming here. Now, this is kind of like this hard, soft material, but you do have the stitching there. You've got a speaker here on the pillar, and this does have the Bose sound system, which is always a good thing to have. A speaker right there, a speaker in the center, and then the same thing over there. Now, this also has my favorite thing, which is the heads-up display. As you can see, my favorite thing to have in any vehicle. And then you just get into this very nice looking fully digital cluster area. Not only that, it is one massive piece that is with the touchscreen. Now, the touchscreen itself is a 12.3-inch touchscreen, which I'll get into in just a little moment here. I really like the screen here. It's one massive piece. Super nice. And on this, you can just view all sorts of different things. I love all of the details on this. And in order to see different things on this, you can just press this little guy here and scroll through just endless amounts of different information about the vehicle. So yeah, that is all there. And yeah, you can literally just scroll through everything. And not only that, but you do have the blind spot system in this. So you do see it depending on which turn signal that you use. Let's use the left one, and a camera will pop up on the side mirrors here. How nice is that? Same thing for the right side. And as for the steering wheel, you do have a two-tone steering wheel. Very nice. More of the contrast stitching there, and the steering wheel does come heated, which is a bonus. You've got the nice logo here that is lit up. More of this nice brushed aluminum trimming down here. On the left side here, you will have your cluster controls. You have also your cruise control settings, follow distance, lane keep, and then all of your media controls. And then on the other side here, you have your different modes. You got your Bluetooth, your favorites, phone buttons. Here is your seat controls, the volume controls. So all of that is over here. And behind, if you look carefully, you also have paddle shifters on both the sides. And behind, you do have all your lighting controls, high beams, indicators. And the other side has your wiper controls for the front and rear. This middle guide right here is to detect what the driver is doing. Mainly if you're drowsy or tired, this will detect you. And for the shifter, it's very unique. It's back here. So all you have to do is put your foot on the brake. Engine start button is right here. And to get into gear, you just twist this pretty much. And yeah, you get into whatever gear that you want to get into. All right, now as for the center armrest area, more of that nice soft touch material. And to open this up, it opens up and you have a good amount of storage space in this. So that's how you close it like that. And then on here, your center console area, what typically would be, but you kind of have like a floating look. I'll show you that in a second. You've got a wireless charging area here, cup holders up here, beautiful, beautiful wood trimming, aluminum trimming around everything here, USB ports, and then you even have this UVC area here if you want to kill all those germs. And here is what the floating center console area looks like. Very, very unique. And even down here, you have more space for a lot of your things. You have another 12-volt outlet over here and then some small space up here. So very nicely done in terms of like the space inside. And then you get into all of this section here. So the bottom area is all of your heating and cooling temperature controls. You've also got the heated steering wheel control here, the heated seat, vented seat, and the same thing for the passenger side. And then up here, the middle section mainly is for your touchscreen. So all of your media controls. And then in the center here, you have your hazards. On the left side here, you have your auto hold, different drive modes, terrain modes. So let me just show you that. It has eco, there's also normal, sport, and then my drive. And then if I click it again, it's gonna switch into terrain modes. So on here, I have snow, mud, and sand. So that's really nice that you can kind of pick and choose between all of those. Over here, you have your hill descent control. Here is your parking sensors. If you want to turn on off the chimes on those. And here is the cameras around this. Now I'm going to show you the cameras first before I walk through the touchscreen. So if I just press this, this is what pops up. I really like this because the definition, I think it's pretty clear. You have your front facing camera on the left and then a bird's eye view up top. And if I just click the top here, I can also see a top front view. If I go back in, here's the standard one that you just saw. There's also this one from your side mirrors, so facing the front, and then you have a full panoramic front view. As for the rear, it's just like this. So you have your rear with the lines and everything, and then you have the same thing. So I can have a top bird's eye view. Here is the side cameras, and then here is a panoramic view. This third one here, you have like this 3D walk around or animation that you can kind of go around the vehicle. So if you're parking in tight spots or whatever, very, very helpful. Also, there's the settings section, so you can turn off certain things if you want. Well, since we're already on the touchscreen, again, like I was mentioning, this is your 12.3-inch touchscreen. Very, very nice and very, very easy to use. So this is what the homepage looks like. You have a section for your map, media, and trailer. And then you have another page with all of your different things here. And another page, more things, and then finally the last page. So let's go to the main page here where you have all the things. You got your phone section here, phone projection for your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, voice memo. Here is your seats. So if I click into the seats here, not only do you have the warmer for the second row and the third row, which you can control from up here, you've also got the ventilation, which you can control for the second row as well. And then if I click this bottom one right here, I can even adjust the seat position. How cool is that? And then same thing here for the folding. I can fold the seats for the second and third row. Really like that. If I go back into the middle one here, I just want to show you for a second. Here's relax mode. But yeah, you can do all of that good stuff. So even the second row seats, you can put them into relax mode. How cool is that? And then you even got dash cam, and then let's go under the settings section. So this pops up even more things, as you can see here. If I go under vehicle here, this will be a bunch more things, including your driver assistance, which will be all of your safety features and whatnot. And then you have a few other things that you can adjust as well. So if I just head back, again, you can play around with all of this, and heading back, going over to the next page, you've also got the weather section here, valet mode, vehicle diagnostics, service maintenance, HD radio data, notifications, and then the last page is just the owner's manual. Now I'm going to show you this here for your massage. Well, it's a kinetic one, but if I just press this, this is what opens up right here on the corner. So if I just go into the settings, it's going to pop up this whole section. So on here, you have the pelvic, lumbar, whole body, or you can just turn it off, and then you can go into the settings as well and just play around with those settings. All right, moving up, not only do you just have a rear view mirror, but like I was mentioning on the exterior, if I just do this, it's also a digital rear view mirror. How nice is that? And then moving further up, you have all of your lighting controls, your sunroof controls for the front and the rear, which is pretty unique. And then of course, all of your SOS, dash cam stuff, and all that good stuff is there. And here's what the key fob looks like for the Palisade, just your typical Hyundai key. And not only that, but if you look on the side here, if it focuses, obviously you have the trunk button, but if you park in a spot where someone parks very close to you, you can actually move it from these buttons right here. All right, let's come around to the passenger side and let me show you what we have going on this side here. So right off the bat, your dashboard is very stunning. First of all, you got this fabric trimming that I was showing you on the doors. It stretches across the dashboard. There's wood trim here and ambient lighting hidden behind. And even on your dashboard, you have like this hard material. It kind of replicates the soft touch material, but it's hard material. But yeah, that's there. And then you even have space here right above your glove compartment area to store some things. And then you have the main glove compartment space for all of your typical things. All right, now I couldn't pull up the window sticker for this Ultimate Calligraphy here, but if you go on Hyundai's website and build this out, this does start at about $65,300 Canadian. And this may be minus any discounts or anything like that. And obviously if you add extras, it will be more plus tax. Well, that does it for the review on this all new 2026 Hyundai Palisade Ultimate Calligraphy. Let me know in the comments down below, do you think the full refresh is worth it?